you can ask a question. Okay, so we are live. What's happening, guys? Welcome everybody to another TENFITMEN live stream. And today's topic, as you can see, it's about performing under pressure, or how you can reach that state where you can play your best tennis, or close to your best, because those moments will be very, very like rare, when you can play at the highest level in matches when you're under pressure. And this is something very important, and I think we should talk much more about this. And you should talk with your peers, with your coaches, with your friends, with your parents, whoever, like if you go more into this kind of topic and you explore it more, I believe you will kind of achieve higher performance. And of course, this is not something that comes naturally, but rather it's the same as, learning how to hit forehands and serves and backhands, and, these techniques, and also how you work on your physical skills and your, shape. The same is here. You have to put some effort, you have to put some time. So I think it's a great topic. And recently I did this podcast on this topic, and as I said, the title was, how to play your best tennis. And here I'm going to talk about routines. We're gonna mention pre-match, during the match, and after or post-match routines. And I think all of them are very important. So once again, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. It's actually very scary here in Shanghai. I don't know if you can hear the sound. There's a wind like hitting very hard against the windows, and there's a lot of water coming inside the apartment. It's maybe because I live at this like high floor, so it's affected more. But there's a typhoon here around the city, and it's a really scary situation. But I'm using this opportunity to do this live, and hopefully it will bring you some value. So I will check here and then, now and then, and at this chats. And if you have some questions, please try to stay within the topic. That in that way we can kind of stay on the course, and follow the topic. So yeah, talking about the pre-match routines, and it's very important to how you prepare. And this will basically mean the preparation for the match, right? And here I will kind of separate or divide this in different parts, different segments, how you can prepare for matches. But let's say the first thing when you are kind of a few days before the tournament or your event or a match, or here can be also any other sport. If you have a race, if you're a runner, or if you have a game, any other sport, you kind of want to start preparing mentally for the game. And there are many things you can do. And I would say one of the first things is that, obviously, if you can know who is your opponent, you can prepare for that. And that is something that really separates the very high level athletes from the good ones, or just like the club level of players. And it's also something I believe I could have done much better job with, and that is like, once you're aware of, once you know your opponent, you should be able to prepare some strategy or tactics. And if you can gather any information about the opponent, that's going to be crucial, and it can bring you so much value, and it can literally affect the outcome of the match. So maybe you will know the opponent, maybe you faced them before, or somebody who played them, and you just want to gather as much information as you can. And you can, either with your coach, with some peers or somebody, or just by yourself, you can try to prepare some tactics. And that also is much more, how to say, fun. When you enter the match with a certain tactics or strategy in mind, it's kind of easier. You kind of focus on that, and you just see if you can apply it. It's not just playing random shots, random points. So I think this is a huge thing, and I don't think I've ever done this like very in a detailed way. I actually kind of avoided it for some reason. and I think that was a very bad thing. So here I'm sharing that with you. If I would go back in time again, and maybe next time when I'm playing a match, I'm not gonna be uh, as I used to be, kind of not afraid, but I was like, I didn't want to know too much about the opponent. I thought it doesn't matter, as long as I can play my game, if I can deliver my close to best tennis, it doesn't matter who's out there. I'm just gonna try to play my best game. But that's absolutely not the right way to think, because I don't know if you're like following so much the world top players, and sometimes in their interviews, or you can find out this in many different ways, but they are preparing so much for every single match or game, and they're analyzing the opponents. They have the whole team, or people who they discuss the tactics. Even the best players in the world and the best teams, athletes, they have to kind of adjust their game, in relation to their opponents. So I think this is a very, very big, how to say, tip or advice, or I highly recommend you to do that. So if you can focus on that, that's a very big step in preparation. So you should know what is the game of the opponent, what are their strengths or weaknesses, should you, and how to adjust your game, because sometimes maybe the opponent will be, let's say, counter puncher, or just like somebody hits the ball back, and your game might kind of focus on heavy shots, maybe big serve, coming forward on when you have a chance. In that case, you might just want to kind of emphasize your game and try to break that wall on the other side. So, but just being aware of the opponent, then it helps a lot. So please feel free to give any feedback, or if you have any experiences, if you want to share with us. I would like to read the comments about it. And so the next step when you're preparing, it could be, or it should be, visualization, right? When you visualize all the little things, the court, the conditions, the atmosphere of the match, even the feeling, your ideal shots, excitement, everything that you can, if you can bring yourself in the future and be there, and then kind of live your future at that moment. And even though those pressure moments, you can imagine, okay, it might be like 5-all, maybe I'm serving now, deuce, second serve, and you try to go through that moment in your mind. So you're kind of visualizing, and but the key is to kind of go in those moments with a positive mindset, and with kind of determination and great confidence, and just visualizing everything going your way. In that way, it can really bring a great vibe, and you can go closer to the match with much better feeling. And I'm saying this because I had similar experience before my first um, hitting sessions at the Masters, because I was super nervous. And then even months prior to that, I was already starting to imagine how things could go. And I think on one particular day, I went in the wrong direction. So I imagined how it's not really going well, and how I'm like not able to perform, and I'm missing a lot of shots, and it was disaster. The feeling was the worst. I try immediately to cut, to stop there, to stop the thoughts, and then immediately go into the positive way of thinking. And I just imagine perfect shots, amazing feeling, people around, and great atmosphere, the energy. And from that moment, I only focused on that, and I was just imagining in that way. So very important. So now we are kind of coming closer to the match day, and it's very important. We're still talking about pre-match routines, right? So warm up, obviously, it's very, very important. And if you ever witness the pros and the whole process of their warm up, you probably know what I'm going to talk about. It's very, very serious part of the whole game, of the whole process. And you know and this is obviously physical warm up in every possible detail, including all the dynamic stretching of each single muscle, getting that sweat going. And very, very important here thing is also to play tennis before the match, warm up on the tennis court. So not just physically. And this is also something I was kind of lacking of, or I didn't really feel to kind of play or hit some balls before the match. I thought I don't need that. I just need to kind of get a sweat going, get ready, and then step on the court. But my experience now from the top players, every single one of them, they go on a court and they have like half an hour, 45 minutes session of hitting and going through all the shots, and then maybe do something specific that they kind of prepare the tactics and they're expecting from their opponent. So that kind of helps them to get going and almost start the match before the match actually starts. So that's very important. And last but not the least, before the match in general, it's the way you think about it and your mindset, and you want to decide. Simply, you make a decision. I want to go there and have a blast, right? I'm gonna go there to have fun, and that's my goal. It's not to go there and then be worried about if I'm gonna win or lose. The winning should definitely be in your mind, but it shouldn't be the main thing. So I think you would rather focus on, I want to go there to have fun. It's time to have fun. Like if you're going with your friends somewhere and then, like, I don't know, to the beach, or you're gonna have fun. So you kind of want to think in the same way, not like, oh, I'm going to this match, it's going to be so tough, I'm going to be so nervous. You want to switch that mindset off and turn it in a different way. And yeah, so I hope that makes sense. For the pre-match routines, we're moving on to the match routines. When you're actually in the match, during the match or during the game or whatever is your sport, I think this is applicable for any discipline out there. So the main thing about match routines, like during the match, whatever you're doing there, it's all about staying in the moment. So being present, being in the now, as people say. And this is the most challenging thing, even for the pros. And maybe you've heard, you listen to their like talk about it and their interviews. But even for the best of the best, it's also challenging to keep those thoughts of like putting you back or forward, like past or future, because then you get distracted. And so some specific things that you can do to stay in the moment, stay in the now. You can think about, this is a very, very good quote. I ran into it. I think I was reading a book. And okay, the Instagram just stopped for some reason. Okay, that's kind of pity, but we're still on here, I believe, on YouTube, because guys, I'm in China, in Shanghai, so we have to use this VPN, so it's very tough to keep this connection. Anyways, the quote, the golden quote in my mind: slow motion gets you there faster. And it's very, maybe not so logical, not so intuitive, but I would like to elaborate on that and explain. So it's kind of like, if you manage to look at the details at one particular moment, and you just focus on that very specific thing that's happening, you are present. You're present in the moment. You will not think about what happened or what's coming. But also, slow motion gets you there faster can also be interpreted as you are focused on like slowing down what's happening at that moment, and like kind of seeing things as they are without any judgment, right? So it's just a slow motion. There's no sound. You just see things in that very moment, and you're able to kind of detach from the situation, and just simply be like observer. Almost, in other words, it kind of becomes a sort of a mindfulness exercise. It's like non-judgmental awareness, right? So you're present in the moment, and I think that can really clear up everything, what's happening, or like your mind, the thoughts, and it's crucial. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Maybe I didn't explain it the best, but you should remember it's slow motion, right? It also means when things are going too fast for you, literally you want to slow down a bit, take your time, and relax, focus on breathing. And I'm going to talk about breathing more in a second. It's very important as well. But another routine that you should have during the match, it's you can find your own way, but the goal is to distract your mind right? Distract your mind and your senses by focusing on something simple that you can either see. So any visual information that you can receive. So looking at your towel, at your bottle when you're sitting there, your racket, something that you just see, and then focus on that. It can distract your mind from what's actually happening. Something that you can hear. It can be your inside voice, the talk with yourself, the sounds around, the touch. So all the senses. We talk about the vision, the hearing, the touch. You can touch it. You can like fix your strings, focus on that. Balls. You can. That's why you see some players like mix the balls, looking for the best ball to serve with. It all kind of counts as a routine and really helps you to bring you to that very moment. Or even what you can taste. During the changeover, some snack, drink. You focus on that taste, how that feels, how that gives you some extra nutrition. You can think about that, or the footwork, or how something feels to you. And for example, footwork, you're focused on your movement, and you can feel that your legs are burning, and that's the only thing you're focused on. So you need to find a way, something very specific. And now I think maybe this is even the biggest thing, and it's your 100% awareness of your breathing and your control of your breaths, right? So it has to be consistent breathing. So it's not just like taking one deep breath, and then it has to be at least, how much time you have on your hand. Like between the points, you try to use all the 25, 30 seconds, how much you can have. But I think it works better in the changeover when you have minute and a half. So you can do it the whole time. The point is to focus on each breath and how you like inhale and exhale. And even you should count the seconds, right? So for inhale should be like 4 seconds, like a deep, like very strong inhale for 4 seconds, and then exhale for 6 seconds. That's kind of how they like estimated the ratio. You can also adjust it. Maybe for you it can be different, but you need to keep that same ratio all the time. That's in that way you will accomplish coherent breathing. The heart rate will be more coherent, and that will prevent from, how they explain, the mental blocks from occurring in your brain. Because when you get super excited, like nervous, there this your heart rate not just speeds up, but it becomes more erratic. That means like the heart will like uh, pump up like in a different rhythm, so it's not consistent. And this, scientifically proven, it kind of causes this kind of mental blocks, and that's where you kind of feel that you are like getting tight, or even like choking, or maybe in some exams, or you kind of get this brain freeze. So if you just focus on this breathing, that's gonna kind of unlock all that, and you should be able to play much more loose and perform at a better level. So this is crucial step. So please, I highly like implore you, and I highly recommend that you try this, and not just try once. You need to kind of take it as a habit. And then you can have the serving routine. How you bounce the ball, how you prepare for the serve. Always the same, exactly the same. Even when you train in your practices, try to repeat always in exactly same manner. Taking the towel after each point or after 2 points, have it on your own terms, how it feels the best. And as I mentioned before, taking your time whenever that's needed for you. So if you feel that things are going well, you don't need a break, you can just keep going. You can see some of the players, they just like to go fast. They like to go fast between the points. Some, on the other hand, they like to take more time. It's very individual. And focusing on footwork, it's a very big one. And I mentioned the footwork in a few minutes ago. That's something that you can also really apply, because it can help you to distract your mind from whatever is the situation. Maybe break point, your break point down, second serve. Obviously, you first need to make a serve, but when you enter the point, you just focus on your footwork. You think about, my goal here is to move as best as I can, get to every single ball and reach the perfect position, stay in a perfect balance, execute every shot. And then you make your shot selection in the moment, but your main focus is the footwork, right? Again, it's distracting your mind of the situation, what's happening. And that's also one of the rare controllable things during the each point. So here we're not talking about between the points, because you have these other routines, but during the point, I think, to distract your mind from, like, coming to that moment where, oh my God, if I miss the shot. No, you just focus on your footwork. Let's get into that wide stance, be stable, this kind of things. I hope that makes sense. And to move on to the post-match routines, regardless of the outcome, right? You want to think about this stage as a learning stage, something that comes after, and no matter if the outcome was it a win or loss, you can always learn a lot from that match. But at first, I think you should kind of cool down, not immediately go into analysis of a match. It's normal that you go into the stage of high pressure and very intense, state, body and mind during the match. So you kind of want to take time after, cool down, and then you can do some nice stretching that can also help you. Maybe some easy jogging and biking. I've seen this. The top players, they usually go to the gym right after match. They sit on a bike and they go for like 10-15 minutes, usually without much talking. With their team, it's usually time on their own. So I think that's very good. And then slowly after that, you can approach easily to the stage of analyzing the match. Whether it was a win or loss. You address what are the good things, and you recognize what can be better, and you can accept the outcome as a part of the game and the process. So that's very, very important. Never criticize or judge yourself because you lost or whatever happened in the match, because everything is a part of the game, everything is part of the process, and that's how you should think about it. And yeah, very important fact, and it can be found on internet. Even the number one player in the world is like, have limited win to loss ratio, or like points won. So if you think about it, somebody also said, one of the legends in the sport, I think, in tennis sport, and they said tennis is a game of losers. So it doesn't sound right at first, but when they explain, and the explanation is, when you go for a tournament, or when you observe or look at a tournament, there's only going to be one winner. So if you think about that, right, only one person will lift that trophy as a number one, and basically all the others are losers. And even in the final, the person who reached the final, they will lose in the final. So it's a very tough sport. So you have to accept losing as a part of the sport, and learn how to enjoy it no matter what's the outcome, and learn from it. And you can kind of use that as a fuel or energy to kind of go into the next one. So you get pumped up and super excited to improve there. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up, and I can quickly go through the. We have some comments here on YouTube, so I appreciate it a lot. Again, the Instagram kind of switched off. I think it was the connection. I think we are on Facebook as well. Still, okay. And comments. Would it be more beneficial to do a couple of practice sets or solid, intense hour hitting session? So this is very relative. It really, thanks for the question. It depends on the situation, right? Depends on the stage. Are you preparing for a tournament, for a match? Are you just in a preparation period? Both are beneficial. It just depends. What are you preparing for? From India, how much time to do warm up? And please shout out my name, Sanchit. Okay. How much time for warm up? Again, very individual. It's very, very subjective. Subjective call. It's up to you. What does it feel good for you? I had Nick Kyrgios warmed up for 9 minutes on tennis court, and I had Tsitsipas play like 1.5 hours almost session, intense. So very, very individual. Understand? Okay. Okay. That's why Rafa has so many routines. Yeah. That's true, Liam. Nice to see you, man. Yeah, routines. I think we covered a lot of them, including the pre, during, and post-match routines, and especially the ones during the match, right? Most of them, they kind of serve as a way, as a means to make you present in the moment. So you learn how to do those routines even in the training, and you try to do them the same way in a match, you should get in the same state where you're not thinking about what's happening. So your mind is kind of present in the very moment. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope this live was useful for you. Maybe you got something from it. I'm gonna keep it on. I'm gonna save it. So if you need to go again through that, you can. I suggest that you maybe even take some notes and literally try to do something that I just talked about and apply it. Like next time you're playing a match and you feel pressure, try to do one or two things that we talked about here. I believe it will help because I also applied some of them, most of them. I mean, I would not talk about some things that I personally don't do or believe in. So it really helps. And just in general, the main thing maybe that kind of uh, you know tops all this advice for playing your best and performing under pressure is think about just you want to have fun. In first place, why you play this game, why you play the sport that you're doing, it's because it's fun, right? And you find it challenging, but in the end it's like you want to play. It's a sport, it's a game, you want to play, you want to have fun. No need to put pressure on yourself. So just enjoy it, enjoy the moment, and yeah, learn these tricks or routines. It can really help you to be in a moment, and in that way your mind will be just free, and you will be able to enter that kind of flow state. Yeah, we didn't mention the flow, but it's very very related to this. How you get in the flow, it's by not thinking too much, just following your instincts. And the best way to allow yourself, give yourself a chance to enter that state is having these routines that can bring you in the moment without going in the past or future. And that's it. I think the point is clear. The message is clear, guys. And have last two comments here. I often feel like when I go into a tournament, I can't find my rhythm and make a lot of errors. I understand. It's very, very common, and I experienced it a lot myself. I wish I knew some of the things before, but I've never actually focused on some of the tricks or routines. I just, thought like I just need to go in a match and focus on my own game. Maybe try to calm myself, but I never knew some specific things that can be done to accomplish that. So I hope this really brings some value. But I do understand, and it's normal. We are all humans. We have these emotions, because you put so much effort, and then the match comes, you feel nervous because you have to perform. Either you put expectation on yourself or somebody else around you. Those are external factors. Either way, like it's very difficult. So I understand. It's normal. The important thing is not to judge yourself, not to judge, not to criticize. Accept mistakes are normal. Just make like small step every time. So next time try to incorporate or apply one of these routines. I think that's going to help a lot. Thanks, sir, for your knowledge sharing. Reads from France. You're very welcome. I'm sending my greetings back to France. I hope you're doing fine there. And we have another one. I'm 15, started tennis at 13. Is it too late to be a pro? It's very tough to answer these kind of questions, and it also depends. What did you do before? Did you play some other sport? Because that really changes a lot. The chances. But I would of course say it's never too late. Even though tennis is very specific, it takes a lot of time to reach a certain level. But I would just say, no matter what, just follow your guts and your feeling and go for it. Put everything in it and enjoy it. Have fun. It's an amazing game. It challenges us so much on different levels, and I think it really makes us tougher, much tougher, and prepared for the life. Anything that life can throw at us, you will be more ready. More resilient. Okay, one question totally not related. It was string extension. Uh, okay, I'm gonna answer this, and then we're gonna wrap it up. The tension I use at the moment is 24 kilograms on both mains and crosses, and the string is just a very simple poly string, nothing fancy. I keep it very simple. at the moment. Okay, thanks a lot once again. It was a pleasure as always. Please, if you didn't put any comments here, you can do it later when the video is posted, and feel free to contact me. And you know, some feedback will be amazing. Any topics that I could cover in the next live sessions. And thanks so much again. You can also check out the content on different platforms like Instagram and the podcast. There are a lot of different topics. Facebook, LinkedIn. We also have Twitter. All these other platforms. You can find all the links below. They will be below in the description for this video. And that's it. Go out there, play tennis, have some fun, and yeah, stay present in the moment and get in that flow, and then destroy it. Play this game, and reach your highest level. Enjoy it. All right, until next time, take care.